So, hi all. In this session, we'll try to understand what is EDR, that is Elastic Disaster Recovery. Okay. So, formerly it was calling as like as Elastic Disaster Recovery Service, but now they have made it as like this. We'll go and try to understand what exactly is the EDR and why do we use it and how we gonna use it and how we take benefits of using the EDR and all. Okay, so the agenda of the session would be, so we'll try to understand what is disaster recovery service and why it is used, when should we used, and how does it work. That is the configuration system, along with some examples. Right. So what is AWS Elastic Disaster Recovery? Fine. So Amazon's provide something like in EC2 instance we would be creating these snapshots, right? It's a kind of a backup, and we do have another thing called that is AWS backup thing. Fine. Likewise, the another service is Elastic Disaster Recovery. Is a service that enables businesses to quickly and easily recover applications and data from unexpected outages. Like, even though you have opted for cloud ecosystem, there you have everything is like elastic one, that is it can scale up and it can scale down anything as you might have opted it, means those service. Ultimately, the AWS wants everything in physical, right? So only their customers can feel the virtuality, but the AWS cannot, because the AWS itself they are maintaining the physical structure or the on-premises hardware structures. Okay, so we cannot expect that hardware might go wrong or it might get crashed due to some issues, or after ages if they have not replaced the hardware, that could make trouble like that. Okay, so in that case, if you have deployed your application in AWS environment, in one of their AWS on-premises structure, fortunately that something has happened unknowingly. So on that case, that is we can call it as disaster, right? So disaster in the sense unknowingly something has happened, something has impacted their infrastructures. So on that case, even your snapshot will be retained in the same thing. So it's quite unable to get the things. Like in this case, we can go with the AWS backup, or in this is the disaster recovery service too. So here, complete data as well as application will be recovered if AWS disaster recovery founds any anonymous activities like outages, minimal downtime in case of data loss or the security breach like that. Okay, so it provides continuous replications of service. So we will be setting the time on that time. Each time it will be going, including their operating system. So not only their data, the complete whole server, application and data from on-premises and other cloud providers or other AWS region into AWS. So it's not only restricted to any AWS ecosystem. So even if you have infrastructure on-premises, though you can use this service too. Or if you have your application on any other provider like GCP or Azure, there also you can. Or if you have inside the AWS ecosystem, there also you can have it. Okay. So ultimately, what they are trying to tell. So in case of any accidental or unpredictable disaster has happened to your application on premises, or it could be on cloud and anywhere. Okay, in that case, it will be going to recover the data, that is in continuous replications of the server. Okay, so why it is used. So AWS, that is disaster recovery service, is used to enhance business continuity. That is, it ensures critical applications are always available even during the major outage or disaster. So in one region we will be having the three zones. Assume that in zone A we have our application, and unfortunately something has happened to zone A and it was completely washed out. So even our data will be the washed out. It's very rare case to get recovered of that data if it is not been backup. Okay. So with the help of disaster recovery, so we will be storing the data where we will be storing in another zone. So we will be having the three zones which are far away from 100 kilometers minimum, right? So in that case, if zone A has affected, the zone B and C will be running parallelly. So if we have taken the backup or the if we have activated the disaster recovery service, so we will be keeping the copy of all our data as well as server everything in another zone so that we can use it right like that. Thus we can minimize the downtime. So that is quickly recover applications and data in minutes to meet strict recovery time object. Okay. Next is cost effective. That is cost efficiency. So using AWS infrastructures only during disaster recovery or drill reducing upfront cost compared to maintaining a fully operational secondary data center. So if you are going with AWS means it's their responsibility to provide you the infrastructure, right? So or else if you are going with your own infrastructure means you need to set up the another data center, so which is somewhere else from your primary one. So for that you need space, you need infrastructure, you need employees, everything. So it will be quite more compared to the cloud one. For that they are telling it's a cost efficiency and simply operations simplifies the operations, that is eliminate the need of multiple tools and complex configuration for disaster recovery. So in that case someone has to take care of that. We need additional team to manage the recovery in case of disaster and all those things. And though we need to have to purchase the recovery agents tools, fine. So we need to pay quite hard money compared to virtual or the cloud environment, fine. So that's why they are quite cost efficiency as well as simple operations. Okay. Next is scalability. So I assume that probably you have another standby data center which is about some petabytes of capacity having, but the actual system has reached more than the standby data center. In that case immediately they have to take action and they have to do the things. If they have not done it on time, even there could be a chance of losing the data. But here scale seamlessly without workload, handling both small setup as well as enterprise level infrastructure too. Fine. So hopefully I have understood what exactly the elastic disaster recovery service and why should we use that. So these are all the some benefits of using with the disaster recovery service, and we'll try to understand when should we go. So if we have already understood why, probably when is 90% of the things we have understood, but we'll try to come across. Okay. So if you haven't got the scenario here, okay. So elastic disaster recovery is typically used in following scenarios. In case of disaster recovery, that is protest against data center failure or power outage, natural disaster, or cyber attacks. In we can call it as a disaster. Disaster is something unpredictable has happened, has impacted our business like that. And planned migrations, facilitating migrations of on-premises or cloud-hosted workload to AWS with minimal disputes. If you have on-premises, that is the physical infrastructure, and you are moving into the cloud one, so on that case also it will be very helpful. And test and drills, so test disaster recovery plans without impacting production environment. So directly we cannot go and for the thing. So we need to do some testing and all, right? So what are the data is working and how it is working, we need to verify, then only we can go with the full things. Okay, so on that case also it won't be impacting any issues or the disaster things over the production environment. Okay, next is regional failure. I just mentioned, right? So I just mentioned the zone one. Here they have also provided the regional failure. So provide the failure mechanisms between AWS regions to ensure high availability for critical applications. Even if your regions got failure, then also you can go and keep the things in another region too. So those will be taken care by the AWS itself. Okay. Next is how does it work, and that is AWS DRS works by continuous replication source service to AWS. That is the continuous replication of source server. Source server is nothing but your actual production server. Okay, to AWS. So if disaster occurs, you can launch recovery instance in the AWS within the minute. Okay, so we'll go and write and okay, let me explain there itself. Okay, so next is key components. That is, these are all the components that includes in the disaster recovery service. Source servers, we required source server, right? So what we need to keep replica or keep the backup actual our server, right? So whether it could be a physical or the virtual one, whether it is another cloud, no matter. And replication agent. So this agent should be present in the source server. That is the server you are targeting to backup. So the agent should be present there. Okay. And installed on the source server to replicate data as well as configuration. So the agent will be having the full access to your system or the server. So he can do anything, whatever he wants. So if he exists only on that case, the recovery can be happened. If not, the recovery won't be happen. Okay. Next is staging area, a low cost environment in AWS where replicated data is stored. In Git also we do have a staging area, right? So the data will be stored in there. So then only we go and commit it, right? Likewise also here we also have this storing area, sorry, staging area. So where we won't be maintaining the replicated servers in for max to max days. Okay, so probably it will be back up again back to their source within 2 3 days, max to max. In that case, staging area will provide the low cost environment. Okay, next is failover. So how does the failover will work? So during this disaster, recovery servers are launched from the staging area to handle production workload. That is, so anyhow we will be replicating or we will be keep backing up the server source servers continuously. Okay, so in that case the disaster has happened, assume. Okay, so the recovery server will be launched immediately. So if we found any unusual things, we will be going and launching the recovery server, okay, from the staging area. Okay, so the staging, whatever the data or the application transaction is happening to the production one, it will be going to the staging area directly. So all the data transaction to the production server will be stopped, and the replicated server is there, right? So which has replicated using the disaster recovery service. For that data, sorry, for that server, the data will be moving thereon in case of failover. So in case, what is exactly the failback then? So in case of failure of your primary server, so the data or the network transmission or the mapping will be done to the disaster server. Okay. So in case failback, once the issue is resolved, that is once your primary server has recovered, that is the infrastructure, everything got restored, and now it's good to go back like that. If if your issue was resolved, then workload can be moved back to source servers. So the whatever the server or the things are redirected to the failover server, automatically it will be fail back to the source server. This is how it will work. So these are all the features we have in the disaster recovery service. Okay. Next, with an example we have. So assume that some cyber attack has happened. An organization, a retail company, has e-commerce application running on premises, that is the physical infrastructure. So unavailable due to ransomware attack, that is someone has infected the virus. Solution. So the AWS DRS replication agent continuously replicate on-premises server data to the AWS staging area. So it will be storing everything in the staging area. So in case of ransomware attack, the organization initiate failover via AWS disaster recovery service means. So the organization found that our system or our servers are infected with the ransomware attack. So immediately they go into the AWS and they start the failover instance. Okay, so the DRS launches the recovery server in the AWS region within the minutes. So within the fraction of minutes, they're going to launch the server. So the e-commerce application is made available to the users via recovered server. So whatever the server they have recovered, so you might have doubt here. So anyhow, the server already got infected. Then this same server, if we are replicating, obviously what we and just in general we think this same replica will be stored in the failover server, right? So in those scenario, obviously the ransom or the virus, whatever they have deployed on server, that should be present in the replicated. But here, the replicating server will go and scan, and then only it will be they're going to remove all the unnecessary files, everything like that. Okay, so after resolving the ransomware issue, the company can use AWS that is failback to on premises. So it will be restored back to the on premises itself. Fine. So we just got in some visualized things how exactly it will happen and how we can go and do the things. Okay, so now we'll go and try to have some practical insights so that we can get it. So whatever the things we will be using today in this session, it is chargeable. Okay, so see here, the elastic disaster recovery, initially they have charged me $0.03. Okay, so what I recommend you people is, once after the practice is done and you know how to configure it and how do we work with it, so immediately after that go and delete the resources whatever you have created or the services. Okay, so just type here disaster. See, the AWS elastic disaster recovery, it's a scalable cost effective application for recovering to AWS. We will be recovering whatever the data we have into the AWS. Okay, so if you have not created anything priorly, fine. So okay, one second. Fine, we don't have any launch template. Okay, fine. See here. So if you haven't created anything properly, so you will be landed into this page. So if you have navigated and searched from here, and you will be landed into this page. Okay. So when it comes to pricing, so rate per replicating source server. So whatever the data or the whatever the complete server you will be storing or the duration it will be take. So it will be charged like 0.28 per hour. The replication and the recovery process also consumes AWS resource. Like it could be your EC2 instance and Elastic Block Storage. These are the there are billed to your account separately at the regular rate. Okay, so whatever the charges they going to take will be additional. Apart from that, that is disaster recovery will going to charge 0.28 dollars per hour. Okay, so for that we will be configuring and initiating the things. Okay, so before we go and launch our server and install the agent that we talk here, right? So source server, that is the EC2 instance, and inside the EC2 instance we need to install the replication agent. Before that we need to create the staging area. Okay, so that is the default replication. So what is your default, that is the agent should work, right? We need to create the failover things. For that, here we need to create the default replication. So every source servers added to this console as replication settings that control how data is sent from source servers to AWS. So the agent should also have some that is server, right, to handle. For that we need to set up the default replication. So the default replication is looks like this, but I have already created, that's the reason I'm getting like this. Let me try to navigate between the regions so that we can able to find it or not. Yes, start replicating your server. Okay, I think so this is the thing you will be getting if you have not priorly created any replication server. Okay, so here you will be specifying the network. So always go with another network. Fine. And thereon the replicating server instance type will be mentioning here. And next is specifying the volume as well as security things. So volume you need automatically replicate new disk. So if you have added the new disk to your EC2 instance, it should be automatically replicating it like that. Okay, and the encryption model and the additional settings like data routing and throttling. So if you have private thing you can go with it, or if you have to throttle the bandwidth in network you can go with there. And point in times, for how many days you need to retain the backup. Like point in time is the disaster recovery feature which allows launching an instance from snapshot capture at the specific point of time. As source servers are replicated, snapshots are taken over time. So whenever there is a recovery has happened, obviously this snapshot will be taken. Okay, this session allow you to configure the retention policy. So how long your snapshot or the backup should be retained. So by default they have provided this sum and value you can range from 1 to 365. That is up to 1 year you can store it. Okay, next is map programming, that is, and another one is tagging. So next is that is the actual DRS configurations launch settings. Okay, so AWS DRS will select the instance type. So it will going to select the instance on the backup. So based on the application. Okay, what it is being used. Okay, so that is the basic one. If you want to go it in, that is periodically update EC2 instance launch templates hardware configuration, we can go with in AWS, that is inactive instance configuration of your launch template. So you can go with inactive one, so don't require to, that is whatever the server you have running with the configuration, the same configuration will be used here. That is AWS will use the instance type configured in your EC2 instance launch template. Okay, that is instance type start instance upon launches. So instance will start automatically upon launching the disaster recovery things. Or you can transfer service tag or launch that is we can also launch automatically set launch into instance ID, which should be instance ID we can go with. and we can provide the license also. And we'll be selecting the subnet in which we will be going with and all. So if you want to go with some default is into instance launch template, that is also fine. Okay, so anyhow we have already created, we'll be closing this. And look here, we have already things are available here. Okay, so the default launch, so we don't want to go with the basic one, we'll go with the inactive one. Starting the things speaking, okay. And default is into launch template. As of now we don't have anything in default. Fine. Okay, in source server, just observe here, we do not have nothing created. Okay, so here in disaster recovery, we will whatever, once we have installed the agent on the source server, so automatically that server will be replicated here. We'll go and try to see that. Okay, so if you don't know how to install the agent on all those things, once after setting up the default replication settings, we just click on the learn more, you will be taking to the installation one. So now we need to launch the EC2 instance, that is our source server. Okay, source server is nothing but your production one, where your actual application is running. So always ensure to allow HTTP and HTTPS, so it will going to interact with the other one, right? So this is the basic one. Okay, so now the instance is launched. Okay, so we need to create the role. So why do we require role to be created? Since so I want my EC2 to be interact with my Elastic Disaster Recovery. Fine. For that purpose, we need to create the role, that is IAM role. Okay, just navigate to IAM. Let's go to roles. I have already created it. Okay, so just here, disaster recovery agent. I just named it as like that. You go and include policy stating like this, that is AWS Elastic Disaster Recovery instance policy. Probably if you go and refer the installation thing, you will be getting that. Okay, so now installation should be done on Linux. I'll be choosing, so directly it has component here. So for that, generating required. Okay, see here, so they are telling that to create the IAM role with Elastic Disaster Recovery Agent install policy. So you don't require this actually. So if you are going with this, you won't be able to generate the recovery one. So that's why I'm asking you to go with like a disaster recovery instance policy. So here the advanced, quite advanced policy will be here. So say the same permissions, whatever this will have. In addition to that, we will have some other things here. Okay. Okay, so once after creating the policies, just come back to EC2 instance and select the instance which you want to keep replicating or keep the backup and go to security by navigating to action and modify IAM roles. Okay, so select IAM and select whatever the role you have created, that is disaster recovery agent. Okay, and update your IAM role. Once after updating it, okay, just connect to that instance. Now install the AWS replication agent. Okay, see here. Use the role that contains the AWS Elastic Disaster Recovery instance policy. So this policy should be updated and that is modified in the IAM of your EC2 instance or your source one. Okay. Now we'll go and try to install the AWS replication agent in Windows. Sorry, Linux. Okay. So here is the documentation. Just follow this documentation. Let me show you people. We'll clear this. Okay, and we'll take the root access. Fine. Now just observe here we do not have any source server. That is, we have not integrated any server to be backup in case of any disaster, and that is we have not instructed anything till now. Okay, to instruct the Elastic Disaster Recovery, we need to install the agent in our source server or the primary server, which we want to take the backup. Okay, now what they are, download the agent installer, that is AWS replication installer. So this is the URL. Okay, so they have already provided the sample one. Okay, but you need to replace two things, your region here also, here also. Okay, just you need to replace that thing. So I have already done that. Fine. So here we have that. Just copy this and go to your instance. Click enter. So now the bucket has pulled over, that is created. Okay, now what we need to do, once after this, use the following command on your source server, that is your production server, in order to run the installation script. Okay, just copy this, go to your instance and paste it. And here you will be providing the region, that is where you want to create the replication agent. That is installation of your AWS replication agent has started. So where do you want to create that agent? So I have created in the same Stockholm, in that is Europe North one, so that I will be providing this one. After providing the name of the region, so it will go and check whether, see here, identifying the region, it will go and check so whether the configuration, that is default replication configuration, has done or not. If it has not done, it will be going to prompt you the error. Okay, and here I will be selecting. So if you want to back up this selected that is block storage, or if you want to back up all the things, so if you want to back up all the things, just press enter. Or if you want to back up only the few disk, on that case you just provide the path of the disk. So here I'll be going with full one. All volumes for the replications are successfully identified. Now downloading the AWS replication agent on the source server. Okay, so it will go and create the source server here, that is ready for recovery, like that. From here only we will be starting the replication thing. Okay, so let this complete, it will take some time. So once after successful installation of agent, that is disaster recovery, that is a replication agent. So we will be prompted like this. That is downloading the AWS replication agent on source server. So it got download here and it's installing, and now it is synchronizing with Elastic Disaster Recovery Console. So this same should be replicated there. So then only we can able to know what server will be replicating that. So for that we just navigate back to this one. So here we can able to see. So in background it will go and create the infrastructure. Okay, so see here. So these things should be greened. Okay, that is the provisioning should be make. See here, creating security group and launching replication server. So how this is going to be created? So based on the default replication what we have provided, so configuration we have provided, right? So here and the default launch, everything. So based on these things it will go and create the resource. See here, the creation is on. Okay, so once after creation is done, here we have initiate recovery job, that is initiate recovery or initiate drill, stop replicating. So that is the replication is already going on. Okay, so here we have replication settings. So the snapshot whatever the things it's going to create will retain here for 2 days. Post that it will be deleted. See here, this is the disk which is going to record. Okay, and launch settings, everything. Okay, so you can just go and check the launch template here. See here, the elastic disaster recovery is getting created, and also the agent we have provided the default one, right? That is also will going to create here. See here. So AWS Elastic Disaster Recovery Replication Server. So the agent we have installed and it's provisioning the things. So this will going to take care. Okay, so as of now it is going with the D3 small. So how it is taken the AWS Elastic, that is replication server. Okay, so just go to default replication. Here we have replication server instance type and where it should be created and what is the volume and all. Okay, so it's nothing but the standby server. So replicating from and replicating to, so from where it is replicating and from where it is storing, for that also we will be mentioning here. So you need to just go and select the different subnets so that the replication will go and happen in different region. Okay, so here you need to specify staging area subnet, so where do you want to replicate it. See, security group has created, launched replication server, boot replication server, authenticating, downloading replication software, creating staging disk. So these are the infrastructures have been started. So only we are left with start data transfer. Okay. It's taking quite long. So once after that, so I this wasn't asked for me because I provide some permissions priorly. Okay, so now on we don't require this one. Just close this and wait till this initialize synchronous. You can see here replication in progress. So it will automatically replicating the things. So time list is 17 minutes. So for 17 minutes, so total replicated storage. So this is how it will going to take the things. Okay, and we can edit replication settings or we can start the replication or the backup thing also. Okay, so if you want to add something, add replication source server, if you want to add even more server, you can just go here, click, see, installed in the AWS replication agent on them. So initially the server should all priorly having the AWS replication agent, then only we can able to add that, or else we cannot. Okay, so we'll wait till the process gets completed. Okay, so now the provision has been done and even the backup is created, initial backup. Okay, the replication has already done. Okay, so for to verify that, you just go back to your EC2 instance and navigate to snapshot. Here we can have the two things. So one is pending and another one is completed. You can go and check the volume, how many volumes have created. Okay, so see here, this is my primary one and another one is replication volume. So both has created there actually. Okay, see here the snapshot things. So this is how it will keep the backup, and once you are done with that, you can just initiate the recovery thing. Okay, so okay, wait. So the status should be changed to ready and healthy one. Then only we can move it. Else we cannot. So for initial time of configuration, it will take quite long. So post that, so it will go and do the things within the minute. Okay. So, so once the ready recovery status come into healthy, so then we can just initiate the recovery one. Okay. So on that case, here the another instance will be created. Okay. Okay. So the another instance will be created saying that conversion server. So the conversion server will help us to create the actual, that is the recovery server with the help of snapshot which has backup priorly, and it will go and create as the conversion server. Okay. So sorry, the actual server with the help of conversion server. So once the work has been done, that is once after successful creating the production, that is recovery server or the failover server, so the conversion server will be terminated, so we don't require it anymore. So again, if you want to fail back, on that case again the conversion server will come and it will restore the things back. This is how it will happen, and I don't know why it is taking quite longer. So since it's a chargeable one, so hopefully people have already understood the concept how exactly it will going to work, and post of creating the source server, that is ready for recovery should come to healthy and as well as ready. Post that, we can go and have the things. So why it is still showing like the initial synchronization as 100% done, that is recovery. Creating the snapshot means because we saw one as created and one is showing pending, right? So that's why it is getting like that. Okay. So we have three volumes here. For all those things, it should create the snapshot. Okay. Now it has created for these two and it is pending for this one. So it's taking quite long to create. So here completed, one is pending. Okay, so we'll go and try to refresh this and still it is showing pending. So here we have a default replication configuration thing. So we can also set up the default launch template also by creating the custom. So we have not created any default one. So the default launch template required to create the new standby server. Okay, for that we need to create it here. Okay, yes, now the status is ready and data replications health is. So we can now initiate the drill. Okay, what is drill? The test disaster recovery plans without impacting the. So it will going to start the things. So without affecting anything. So pending action initiate drill. So initially we need to initiate the drill. Thereon we can initiate the recovery. So once the recovery has been done, we'll try to give this. See here, the recent one. This has happened. So they are asking us to choose which should be considered for launching the new server or the backup one. So use the most recent data. Choose the point in time from which launched a recovery instance for the selected resource. That is, your primary server got infected or got some happened, some disaster has happened. Now you are one click away from creating the recovery instance. That is the standby instance. So we'll go and try to create. Okay, so recovery job. This has been created. So you can just go and see the things here. It's under pending. So if we go and see, so it's still taking time. Let refresh the things. So this is the log what has happened. So now finishing taking snapshot. So priorly it was done. Now we initiate the that is a recovery server, right? So conversion started. So if we go and see the thing here, the another instance will be launched. So the conversion will help us to create the actual production server. So it's an agent who come here and who will go and create the things instead of human. Okay, see here, the conversion server has started. That is M5 large. So for this, it will go. They're going to charge you the amount. Okay, so since for the demo purpose or the hands-on things to understand practically, I am showing you people. So if you want, you can go and do, or else you can just understand the concept and you can stop till the recovery has happened, right? So we can keep monitoring the things here. So the conversion has started. That is, from it will going to take this snapshot, and based on that, it will go and create the new, that is the recovery server or the standby server. So since nothing has created so far, it's showing empty. Okay. So one is my primary server, another one is agent who is taking care of initiating the backup. That is a disaster recovery replication server, and here is the conversion server on who going to get you the new standby server. So here I am doing in the single region. You can go and do it in multiple too. So by just specifying the region post while installing the agent, so it will take some time. So here we can able to track the things what is happening and all. So type is recovery, status is started and initiated by start recovery. Since we have not taken any elastic IP, so the public IP will be changed. It's quite a long process during the initial one. I mean, it will take quite time to think. So completion time, post completion, it will be, we can able to track it here. Successfully launched by recovery server. So on that, once after creating the standby or the recovery thing, see here. So it has now it's stopping the thing. So it has done its job, like it has instructed the things. Now it captured the snapshot and all, and now it will go and create the new server that is for the production. So assume that our production server has some virus and it was got damaged due to some reasons. So it's showing like placement volume does not exist. Okay, there is some issues as created during the creation. Okay, so conservation succeeded and it is looking for the So the production server got affected, and the recovery, whatever the recovery has happened, I don't want to that is navigate or allow the customer or the end user traffic to this production server. So I want to transfer all to the recovery server. Okay, on that case, the conversion will come here and they're going to create the things. Okay, and whatever the network transaction is happening between the production server, it will be redirected to the new recovery server. Okay, now started launching recovery instance. So see, ready for recovery, pending things are happening. Look here, so the compute internal, so another one got created with C file large is running. Okay, so we'll go and select this one, and the private IP is same for the same thing. It has created the, so again it is stopping and will wait till the actual recovery server gets created. So we have instructed to use the same configuration, right? So here it is using C5 things. Okay, now started launching the recovery instance. Again, it will go and need to launch. Go and see whether recovery instance is created. No, it has not created it. See, yeah, successfully launched recovery instance. Okay, so we'll go and try to see whether it is created. See here. So it has launched, but it has not yet started. So we need to start it. So pending action product recover instance. Okay, go here. You can view the past launch action run results like this. Okay, so terminate recovery instance, or you can just start resolved application like that. Okay, so again it is started automatically. I did not do anything. So the recovery instance or the standby instance. So automatically whatever the request is coming to this server will be redirected to this server. Okay. So now the things or the provisioning thing has been done. We can see the logs and it's showing recovery status launched. Okay. So still it has not updated here. Okay. Let it. Fine. So now whatever the request is coming here will be redirected to the compute internal server. Okay. So this is how it will happen, and once your actual server got detected, and we can launch for the failback. Okay. So the current recovery instance status is pending. So I think so it has again started, and status taken at this moment. So it's keep backing up the things. Okay. So it was last time it took initially 37 minutes. From now onwards, it will be like things. Okay. So if you don't want to replicate your instance, you just stop the things also. So this is how it will work. Again, let me show you. Okay. So we'll stop the replication first, and we'll try to delete all the resources whatever we have created. So disconnect from AWS. Okay. Wait. So it is stopped, and try to disconnect it. So post disconnection only you can able to delete the things. Okay, so just select all the thing. Terminate all the instances. Yes, terminated things. Okay, we are done, and just disconnect the server. Cannot because it has a recovery instance. Okay, so priorly we need to delete the recovery instance. Okay, so delete recovery instance. It must be first. Okay, so you disconnect it from AWS. Okay, post that, just select it and delete. Okay, now recovery thing has been done. Go back to your source and select it. Click here. Again, disconnect here also. Then click here. Delete the server permanently. Okay, so now we are done with deleting these two. and the source network. Okay, now we have stopped replicating it. Okay, and the job. So this is just a log. You need not worry about this. Okay, so this is the default thing, so it won't get built. Okay, don't worry. So we are done with this part, and here also the termination has happened. Okay, now just navigate to launch template and check for any available launch. If it is available, just delete that also. Delete the template directly, and it will go and delete the associated of the versions. Fine. So once after that, just go to snapshots and cross verify. Even for retaining the snapshots also, you will get bill. Okay, just go here and delete the snapshots. It's very important to delete all the snapshots. Okay, now come back to volumes and check any other volumes are existed or not. Okay, try to refresh it, and we'll try to. So post deletion of your instance, and it should be deleted actually. So we might get error. Okay, so if it is not deleted, we'll be getting some error like this. Okay, it's under deletion. Okay, and you can just go back to security groups, and there also you can delete it. Okay, so apart from default, I will be deleting all. Okay, so whatever the things have been created, we just deleted all the things. Okay, cross verify it once after deletion is done. Okay, the status volume state is deleting. Okay, and now get back to launch. Okay, just refresh this whole one. Okay, so this is all about the Elastic disaster recovery service. So this is how exactly it will going to work, and the things will happen. Okay, so thank you for watching this, and if you have any queries or doubts, you can just drop down and we'll get back to you with another video. Thank you all.